This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.
ADNOC Gas awards Petrofac a $615 million carbon capture project, and Saudi non-oil activity rebounds in September. You're watching The Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. ADNOC Gas has awarded a $615 million contract to Petrofac Emirates for its carbon capture project. The contract covers the construction of carbon capture units, pipeline infrastructure, and a network of wells for carbon dioxide injection at the Habshan gas processing plant. The Habshan project is one of the largest carbon capture projects in the MENA region. It will have the capacity to capture and permanently store 1.5 million tons per annum of CO2 within geological structures deep underground. ADNOC and Occidental Petroleum will conduct a preliminary engineering study for building the first megaton scale direct air capture or DAC facility outside of the U.S. Both energy firms inked a deal in August to explore investment opportunities in CO2 capture and storage hubs in the UAE and the U.S. The preliminary study will assess the proposed DAC facility with 1 million tons per annum capacity. It would be connected to ADNOC's CO2 infrastructure for injection and permanent storage into saline reservoirs. A joint venture between Mazda RNW Solar Investment has signed an agreement with Tajikistan's Ministry of Energy and Water Resources to develop at least 500 megawatts capacity of clean energy projects. These include floating solar power and hydropower. The JV, named MW Energy, aims to develop projects including solar PV, wind and hydropower as part of a public-private partnership. Central Asia is a key investment destination for Mazda, where it's developed several landmark clean energy projects. Saudi's non-oil business activity grew in September as higher sales boosted overall output. The Riyadh Bank Saudi PMI rose to 57.2 in September from 56.6 in August. Overall output jumped to 62.8 from 59.1 the previous month as new business expanded at a fast pace. Riyadh Bank's economists say they believe non-oil GDP will continue to support growth and remain above 5.5% for 2023, supported by the ongoing reforms under Vision 2030. Global demand for all forms of energy is forecast to rise by 25% by 2045. That's according to OPEC Secretary General Haytham Al-Ghais, who said no single energy source can meet the world's growing needs. He said this is why OPEC supports investment in both oil and renewable energy. He said for the first time, OPEC will have a dedicated pavilion at COP28 to showcase its work, plans, and support for the transition to a clean energy system and reducing carbon emissions. Turkey's annual inflation rate held steady near 60% last month, offering the first evidence that its economic policy U-turn is working. Consumer prices rose 61.5% over the 12-month period ending in September. The annual rate stood at 58.9% in August and 47.8% in July. The data suggests that Turkey's inflation rate is starting to peak after a series of sharp interest rate hikes that have taken the policy rate to 30% from 8.5% in 4 months. Let's take a look at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking, which tracks the daily wins and losses of the world's wealthiest people. Our biggest winner today is Alphabet's Larry Page. He's up $2.6 billion and now has net wealth of $112.8 billion. Our second biggest winner today is his counterpart, Alphabet's Sergey Brin, up $2.4 billion and now with net wealth of $108.3 billion. And our third place winner is Jeff Bezos. He's up $2.3 billion, now with net wealth of $152.3 billion. Check out our website and our social media for all of the latest Billionaires news. And the trial of a former billionaire, Sam Bankman-Fried, begins today at 5:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. He's facing 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy, accused of stealing billions from customers of his FTX crypto exchange. Federal prosecutors say the 31-year-old former billionaire embezzled from FTX customers since its founding in 2019 through its November 2022 bankruptcy. They allege Bankman-Fried used the cash to support his hedge fund Alameda Research, buy luxury properties, and donate more than $100 million to American political candidates. And U.S. authorities have issued their first ever fine over space debris, slapping a $150,000 penalty on a TV company that failed to properly dispose of a satellite. The Federal Communications Commission came down on Dish for failure to properly deorbit a satellite called EchoStar 7. It's been in orbit since 2002. The FCC says when the satellite's operational life ended, Dish moved it to an altitude lower than agreed upon, where it could pose orbital debris concerns. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.